Hey, good. So I'm on a live stream revealing Satoshi's identity. I'm not kidding. I've got a signature and it decrypts to a message. That's the weird thing. This guy reached out to me and I told him, listen, go troll somebody else, pound sand, et cetera, et cetera.
Martin, the person that sent this to you, what are the odds you think that they are either a Fed or are being influenced by Feds that are trying to discredit Bitcoin?
I would imagine it would lead to a crash. Now, I'm no expert on that, but the anonymity and the legend of Satoshi, I think, had a lot of the value in it.
The timing is very bizarre. It's a strange time
If I was a Fed and I wanted to discredit Bitcoin,
This is the time.
saying Bitcoin was created by literally the worst candidate possible, and then having it be associated with yourself and having you be kind of known as like just that association, I think like that it makes a lot of sense.
So if you're just joining, and again, I'm a little embarrassed and cautious in saying this, but I believe I am now, for the first time in human history, revealing the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous creator of Bitcoin. I'm doing this via digital signature, which corresponds, as you can see, you can try this yourself at 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗏𝗏. You can go to my Substack where I posted this evidence. There is this signature. There is this transaction message, and then there's this address. The address is well known to be the very address that 𝗏𝗡𝗍𝗍𝗔𝗍𝗏𝗧𝗏, old cryptographer who helped invent PGP, that 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗏 received Bitcoin with. Maybe someone has 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗏's keys. I'm not memeing, I'm not doing this for any profit or attention, maybe a little attention. But I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. And again, if there's somebody that verified this with two different tools, I used Bitcoin.com's key signature verification tool, and I get the same result. I put in the 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗏 address, right? Yep, there we go. Okay, I don't know why they didn't copy paste right. But if I change one thing, it doesn't work. If I change this, it doesn't work. If I change that, it doesn't work. So it seemed to me, using two different algorithms, I've decrypted the first Bitcoin transaction sent, and that transaction reveals the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto as 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what's going on here, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was one of probably top 10 people thought to be Satoshi Nakamoto. That was a rumor, but in this case, we know that 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗏 said he received this from this address to this address, Bitcoin, I think it was 10 Bitcoin from Satoshi. And the signature that I have decrypts to this. This transaction was made by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 on January 12th, 2009. So this is really big if this is true. I'm, like I said, relatively inexperienced. Probably to the average person, I'm an expert, but when it comes to people like 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 or 𝗍𝗏𝗏 or expert cryptographers, I'm certainly not one of those. This question is as important as one of the greatest mysteries of mankind, quite frankly, and maybe that's overselling it a little bit. I feel very strange to be chosen to break this news. It's a very humbling thing. Somebody wrote, RR said, how can this be confirmed 100%? Well, that's exactly why I posted it on Substack. Like I said, is it possible you could fake a signature, or is it possible that, I'm being pranked? I went to two different verification algorithmic sites, Bitcoin.com. Somebody approached me yesterday with this, and I was actually quite rude to them, and I'd like to apologize to that person. Certainly the timing lines up. Maybe if this is true, I probably want to take some time to help people understand that even people who commit crimes, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is currently in prison. From time to time, we all make mistakes, sometimes big mistakes. And, we shouldn't necessarily think that people who have made even some large mistakes, possibly people like Ross Ulbricht and others, that they're irredeemable. Brilliant people can make mistakes, and sometimes maybe the more brilliant you are, the bigger the mistake you make. And I think that, again, to this extent, this is true, regardless if it's true or not, I believe. There are many people who have suspected this for a long time, but people have suspected many people, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. People were onto the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, but this cryptographic proof is new. This is the first time anybody's been able to prove, as I'm proving here, that Satoshi's identity is Paul 𝗟𝗏. So he is one of the world's wealthiest people. And I don't see any information to the contrary. I can't reveal who gave me the signature, but they gave it to me yesterday, and I was very suspicious. I will say that regardless of the veracity, at the very least, the sending address is connected to Satoshi because it was one of the first addresses, and 𝗏𝗡𝗍𝗍 has stated many times that he received the first Bitcoin directly from Satoshi. The wallet is public. The signature and information that I'm revealing is new. Has never been revealed before to mankind. Many people believe this is one of the greatest mysteries. It's possible someone could have stolen 𝗏𝗡𝗍𝗍𝗏's private key after he died. That's right. That is possible. Absolutely right. I don't think that's the case. Paul 𝗟𝗏 was not just a criminal. Paul 𝗟𝗏 was quite a bit more than that. He was a programmer. He did become a criminal. He did write TrueScript, exactly. This is somebody that was very important. So Paul 𝗟𝗏, who's currently imprisoned, is Satoshi Nakamoto. I can't talk about the person who gave me the signature. I don't have their permission necessarily to discuss this. Now, Paul 𝗟𝗏 was not a new name. Many people, in fact, so when this person approached me 2 days ago, I deleted their message and I insulted them. I said, no, there's no way that could be true. Or, if that's true, people knew that already. This isn't news. You have to have the cryptographic proof. And the guy said, I have the cryptographic proof. I just need you to talk to me on video. And I said, I'm not doing that. Even though I talk to strangers on video all the time. If you are even a mildly attractive woman, I will talk to you on video. That was maybe a little foolish, but the person said, no, I have proof. Trust me. And they said, I want proof that you're Martin Shkreli first. And I said, leave me alone. I'm busy. I'm working. I proceeded to play video games. The evidence is right here. I'm looking for somebody who's an expert who can contradict me. I'm asking a couple of the people that I know. That's the weird thing. This guy reached out to me and I told him, listen, go troll somebody else, pound sand, et cetera, et cetera. He said, no, it's Paul 𝗟𝗏. And I said, well, a lot of people think it's Paul 𝗟𝗏. That's not news. He's sort of a top 3, top 5, top 10 candidate, depending on who you talk to. Yeah, the hashtag is a little weird, I would agree. Twitter was around for that. The spelling of the name isn't 100% right. Player 2 makes some good comments here. He says that, well, 1QT is 𝗏𝗏's address. So that means the message was written by someone with 𝗏𝗏's private key. Maybe the private key got leaked or sold, so it's entirely possible someone else signed that message. And it could have been yesterday, of course. I think that's right. Jean Rossis is saying, no, what you're revealing is someone saying that. Anyone can claim anything, even if the message is true. It raises questions. I totally agree and respect what you just said there, because ultimately there are a couple things strange about this message. One, it uses a hashtag, which is a bit of a newer thing, although hashtags were around in 2009. The second is the name is not spelled correctly, which we don't know how Mr. 𝗟𝗏 spells his name, but that does seem to be a strange spelling.
I mean, that's just 𝗏𝗏's wallet, though, right? That's the deepest I can find, at least on the web.
It does appear to be 𝗏𝗏's wallet, correct.
Yeah, and it has some spends to a Coinbase account in 2017.
Yeah, no, we know 𝗏𝗏's story really well, and 𝗏𝗏 said that he received the first Bitcoin from Satoshi.
Assuming this is all real and this is actually Satoshi, what do you think that means for Bitcoin as a whole?
That's a good question. My mind is a little too blown to really even process that.
I would imagine it would lead to a crash. Now, I'm no expert on that, but the anonymity and the legend of Satoshi, I think, had a lot of the value in it. And then the U.S. government could come in and say, oh, well, got this convicted felon behind it. They could really lay in on the regulation side.
The timing is very bizarre, especially considering you have Sam Bankman just getting arrested. Possibly Binance could be seeing something somewhat similar.
Yeah, and then when 𝗟𝗏 was arrested, that was when I guess the original Bitcoin repo stopped getting updates from Satoshi.
Yeah, exactly. That was the case. That as soon as 𝗟𝗏 went to prison, the Bitcoin updates stopped. He also said he was onto other things, which is a little bit bizarre given I'm not sure that there are bigger things than inventing Bitcoin. I agree, SB makes a really good point. If that's 𝗏𝗏's address, at most, this means a family member of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 has private keys and decided to say this was from Paul 𝗟𝗏. It's possible for sure. It's possible that 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗢𝗓𝗔𝗠𝗏𝗏𝗔𝗠𝗏 account was sold, and then somebody bought an empty account or something, and now they're using it to sign this private key.
Yeah, there's still 10 Bitcoins on it, right?
I don't think there's any, too many coins left in there. So that to me is a possibility that the key was purchased, or the account was purchased by, or sold from the 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗢𝗓𝗏 estate or whatever. Since it doesn't have any coin in it, you conceptually could have bought the private key to this wallet. Now, typically you don't want to buy private keys because they're not useful if multiple people know the private key name. It's not right. Some people think it was Craig Wright, but no, that's not right. If you Google that Bitcoin address, there's a website that, purports that Craig Wright was the founder of Bitcoin, which some people do believe, but that's been largely discredited. Lars Larson makes a good point. Why would Satoshi have Hal's key? I do think that's a bit strange.
Can someone dig up the actual text for that transaction just to rule out the possibility that it was committed to
Here's
somehow?
𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗥𝗍𝗬𝗏 Let's get 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗥𝗍𝗬𝗏 take on this.
But it could be Martin Shkreli doing it himself, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could be Martin.
I don't have 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗢𝗓𝗏's keys. I don't think, and I don't know. It seems unlikely anybody does, right?
I mean, the fact is,
It's very clear somebody does. Like, there's no doubt about that. 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗢𝗓𝗏 didn't come up from the grave and start doing Bitcoin transactions a few years ago. Like, there's no way.
I mean, he did cryogenically freeze himself.
That is
so-
true.
They cry out.
what if they revived his head?
Actually, that's a more
His
compelling
family
theory than
could
that.
easily
Yeah, I think
have that in like a trust that was released recently, so many years after his death or something like that.
No, I think that the theory that Hal Finney has come back to life and been unfrozen is more credible than the Satoshi theory.
Yeah, look, I think the fact that the coins have moved post-death means that the chance of this is less than 1%, but I would like to rule that out. And I think that looking at, it just seems so obvious to me that this transaction, or if this message was real, it would have been committed to somehow in the actual transaction on chain.
Right.
Like it's
not.
saying this
I agree with that.
Well, can we? How do you know that for sure, Dusty?
Well, I mean, we can look at the transaction, but I guarantee
Right,
you,
that's what
if
I'm
they
saying.
did, everyone would have been talking about it for like years on ages. There's no up return on that transaction. I guarantee it.
Is there any way that you could commit to something in that transaction other than using an off return? Are there ways that were common or known to be used around in the early days
No,
that you could rule out? No?
definitely not.
I was able to verify that message. Let me see if that address is 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗢𝗓𝗏𝗏's.
Listen, I suspect what you guys suspect, which is that the kids sold the private key, or the kids, to unlock Dad's Bitcoin in his estate, sold it to someone or some entity, or they stored it in a hot wallet or something like that, right? I don't think that.
Well, okay, there's definitive evidence that this key is used as recently as what was it, 2017,
18?
18? Like, it's not a question of if the keys were leaked. They're clearly leaked from the blockchain.
Yeah.
That's just
Well, they were used. I don't know about the word leaked, but used.
Hey, Martin, the person that sent this to you, what are the odds you think that they are either a Fed or are being influenced by Feds that are trying to discredit Bitcoin by creating by acquiring the key?
Are you talking about Magoo?
That's a bit of a conspiracy. I think it's more likely that somebody's
I
just
think it's possible.
somebody's just pulling my leg. I would say more than anything else. It's a strange time
If I was a Fed and I wanted to discredit Bitcoin,
This is the time.
saying that Bitcoin was created by literally the worst candidate possible, and then having it be associated with yourself and having you be kind of known as just that association. I think it makes a lot of sense.
I think the more interesting question is why half of the explorers don't show the initial 10 Bitcoin transaction on that address and half of them do.
That I can't answer. It was very easy for me to find it.
That's pretty easy to explain. It's because the old style addresses paid to public keys are just rarely supported, and they're hard to support, so a lot of block explorers just don't bother.
Xfrog, are you looking at the actual plain text of the transaction?
I looked up the address, not the message. I looked up the address that the message was signed with on 4 different block explorers, and 2 of them mentioned that it was the address that Hal received the initial 10 Bitcoin on and showed it in the list of transactions. But all of them said that address address has been used as recently as October in 2022. So
guys,
it was that address. It was Hal's
it's
address.
ridiculous.
Like, the thing that I haven't verified myself is that the message that is claimed to have been signed by that address actually verifies from that address.
Right.
That's kind of interesting if it is, but it doesn't mean anything because that address has been used since Hal died, so we know that the keys are out there.
Right. It's an absurdity. And LaRue's not a great candidate.
Well, I mean, what's the absurd part? Because it does seem to be valid. Does anybody dispute that?
Whoever got the keys to this address signed a message with
Correct.
that looks like it is valid if that message signs correctly, which I can't verify right now. My note is down.
I haven't heard anybody dispute that. So
It's verified. I verified it just
So the
2
signature-
minutes ago.
yeah.
The signature is verified, so we can put that fact on the table.
And I don't want to replace your pinned link for now, so I dropped a link to Bitcoin Talk forums where this
No, you can
address is
replace
being
that.
discussed. Yeah, his 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗥𝗍𝗏𝗏 Bitcoin Talk account was accessed last time in 2017, so his children definitely got access to the private keys. Well, to the wallet.
Someone got access to it. We don't know it was.
And the Bitcoin Talk forums as well. So his digital, whatever you want to call them, assets are in control of his children's family.
Well, 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗥𝗍𝗏𝗏 has done some work with 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗍𝗏's wife. I'm curious, do you know the story of what happened there? 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗏𝗏 has his family got access to his accounts and stuff? The family has access to his Bitcoin Talk accounts and stuff like that? Have you ever heard that?
I don't, but I actually reached out to her a couple of days ago to say, she wanted to archive his Twitter account because of Elon possibly getting rid of the inactive ones.
I mean, there's nothing to be verified. We know that the keys to this address have been used since he died, so we know that they're compromised. Who compromised them doesn't matter. Whoever has them now doesn't really matter. All that we know now is that person's a joker.
They were handed to his daughter, according to someone making a statement that after they read the thread of Bitcoin, I guess, and how communicating.
Again, my psychological analysis of it is similar to your guys's, which is that this message was not created in 2009. That seems very unlikely, and that the best explanation is simply that the key is available. I was removed from the room. That's very nice. Oh well. I don't know what I did wrong.
Hey, Martin.
Oh, what a burn! What a burn!
Yeah.
I can explain if you want. I tried to contact you, but
Yeah, your messaging and all that is just, you're not being clear.
yeah, sure. So let me try to explain, right? So if you look at the first transaction that happened from Satoshi to Hal, right?
Yeah.
So now if you go in the blockchain explorers that show that transaction,
Yeah.
and you click to the input side, you will see that the address who sent the Bitcoin, who's supposed to be Satoshi's, is still very active too, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, Satoshi is not supposed to be active.
Let me look.
Okay? So if you
Hold on.
consider
Let me look. For some reason you annoy me. I don't know why, but let me take a look. Let's see. It's received. I don't think it's sent though. I don't see it sending anything. Do you?
let me check.
This is why I muted
I can't
you.
block share.
This is why I muted you in the first place.
Yeah, still, but I'm not talking about the actual correct. Okay, so let me try to rephrase it. So
Rephrase what? You said it's active.
the only, yeah, but
not
the
active.
only way you see this address being actually active, when I'm telling active,
It's not
I'm saying-
active.
Okay,
To receive
passively active if you want.
to receive Bitcoin doesn't make your address active.
Okay.
You can jump off the roof today, and I can send you Bitcoin every day from now to eternity. It doesn't mean you're alive and active. This wallet has only received Bitcoin, as far as I can tell. It doesn't send Bitcoin. I'm not trying to be mean. I just prefer to be talking to somebody that knows exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's where I was going to explain you how it works, but
how it works. When did
you say I'm annoying? Then when I try to explain, you cut me and try to explain words instead of me teaching you something, right?
Bro, you're on his Discord, bro. Chill.
But if he goes to Clubhouse and gets kicked after talking with guys that have no idea what they are talking about, and when the guy
you have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about yourself, man.
Can we just all shelve the egos real quick? This is kind of cool.
All right. Enough of you, Gil. So I mean, this account receives Bitcoin periodically.
Blockchain.
Most people think from Satoshi fans. The last time this account sent any Bitcoin was the date in question, which is 1/12/2009. So